Hey, listen for the first 30 seconds. Modern love is not your friend. It looks like a poem, feels like a rush, and calls itself freedom. But for a lot of men, it has become a tax, an emotional, financial, and existential tax that rarely pays you back. If you're honest, you feel it in your bones, the giving that empties you, the expectation that you'll carry everything, and the cold surprise when loyalty is treated like an option. This video is a map. I'll show you where the trap is, why it works, and exactly what to do so you stop getting played. No finger wagging, no hate. Just clear thinking, real stories, and practical rules you can live by. I want to start with 3 short stories real enough that you'll recognize someone you know, or maybe yourself. First, there's Sam. He met Layla in his late 20s. He invested his time, money, attention, the whole package. He quit late-night gaming, paid for trips, defended her online, deferred promotions so they could move together. When things got stale, she framed her restlessness as self-discovery. He doubled down. He believed commitment would build the bridge. 2 years later, she left, kept half the savings, and his friends clapped her courage. Sam sat with the bills and the quiet house. The worst part wasn't the loss of things. It was the slow realization that he had become a project, not a partner. Second, there's Omar. He's an emotional contractor. Women lean on him. He becomes everyone's therapist. When a partner is insecure, the first call is to him. He listens, patches, rearranges his schedule, shows up. She gets better, then moves on without much gratitude. Eventually, Omar notices his own compass broken. He doesn't know what he wants anymore because he's been living to stabilize everyone else. The cost: his ambition faded, his friendships thinned, his confidence hollowed out. Third, there's Jason. He hustled, built a business, kept quiet about his stress because real men don't complain. He paid for a wedding, signed a mortgage, provided stability. Years in, she files for divorce, citing unhappiness. The courts split the house. He's expected to continue supporting the kid, and the same lifestyle he paid for in public. She's praised for reclaiming herself, while he's quietly labeled unsympathetic if he resents the system. These aren't horror stories to scare you. They're clear, familiar patterns. You might swap the names, the neighborhoods, the details. The structure is the same. Men give. Modern love harvests the giving. Justice, gratitude, and reciprocity show up as optional extras. So why does this happen? There are 3 engines powering the exploitation: cultural narratives, psychological dynamics, and structural incentives. Each one alone would be dangerous. Together, they create a machine. Culturally, the script sold to men and women is different. Men are told devotion equals virtue. The maxim, "a real man provides, protects, never complains," gets framed as noble. Women are told that self-actualization and finding yourself are sacred. This is marketed as liberation for women and duty for men. On the surface, it looks like equality, but it's asymmetry disguised as fairness. The language matters. If one side is told it's owed happiness while the other is taught to earn it, you get a transaction disguised as romance. Psychologically, scarcity and abundance flip the power dynamics. Attention is the currency. Social media and dating apps created a marketplace where a single swipe can generate dozens of validations for someone who posts a picture. That abundance decreases perceived risk for the person who receives attention and elevates expectation. For the person who must earn attention by demonstrating value over long periods, scarcity fuels chasing. Chasing lowers status. Status attracts. So the system nudges men to overinvest, and women often unconsciously to keep options open. That imbalance isn't moral weakness, it's incentive engineering. Structurally, the law, economy, and social rewards can tilt outcomes. Divorce laws, social norms around caregiving, and the economics of emotional labor often place disproportionate risk on men. When commitment becomes a one-way street, your sacrifice is locked in. Her exit often cost-free or even celebrated. The structure enables exploitation. It's not all legal or criminal. It's also the quiet social applause when a person chooses herself, and the silence when a man loses everything after doing the right thing. Mix those three engines and you get the pattern. Men as steady providers of resources, money, time, emotional bandwidth, and the system that rewards departure more than it rewards loyalty. Now here's the brutal but helpful truth. Exploitation only works if you accept the terms. That means the real work is not hating the other side. It's reclaiming the terms you accept. Start with a mental reset. Stoic practice helps here because it teaches a very practical economy of control. Marcus Aurelius says, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That isn't pious fluff. It's a weapon against being emotionally manipulated. You can't control whether someone will disrespect your loyalty, but you can control how much of yourself you hand over before reciprocity is visible. Practical Rule 1. Measure before you invest. Don't give away your future as a down payment on a promise. Instead, use phased investment. Early on, give small things that feel proportionate and reversible. Time-limited emotional labor, matched financial contributions, reciprocal acts of service. Watch how she responds when your investment is modest but consistent. If she expects unlimited effort for minimal commitment early on, that's a predictive signal. Think of it like due diligence on a business partnership. You wouldn't transfer your life savings to a CEO who avoids paperwork and dodges questions. Treat relationships with at least that level of rigor. Practical Rule 2. Set clear standards and enforce them with calm consistency. Standards are not ultimatums. They're boundaries anchored in self-respect. A standard might be emotional reciprocity, basic financial responsibility, or mutual accountability. When standards are violated, respond proportionally. Not with cornered rage, but with a withdrawal of what you uniquely offer. Time, availability, money, emotional bandwidth. That withdrawal is not punishment. It's information. If someone values you, they will step up. If they don't, they will step out. And now you've saved years of loss. Practical Rule 3. Protect your legal and financial position before you escalate commitment. I'm not counting on cynicism. I'm counting on prudence. Premarital agreements, clear financial planning, separate accounts for big purchases until commitment is confirmed. These aren't romantic. They're adult. You can be loving and legally smart at the same time. Loving with your eyes open is better than loving blind and paying forever. Practical Rule 4. Stop equating sensitivity with submission. Emotional strength contains vulnerability, but it isn't silence under abuse. If you're the guy cleaning everyone else's wounds while your own go ignored, the Stoic answer is not to harden your heart, it's to reallocate your care. Your empathy must be finite and directed by choice. You owe yourself the same compassion you give others. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." React by choosing wisely who gets your care. Practical Rule 5. Create parallel sources of meaning. The person who collapses emotionally after a breakup often had too few pillars. Friendship, work, purpose, physical fitness, intellectual projects, these are your anchors. They make you harder to destabilize. When your center is a life well lived rather than a relationship's moods, you become less exploitable. This doesn't mean coldness. It means presence. It means you are whole whether someone stays or goes. Practical Rule 6. Learn to test for reciprocity early and elegantly. Reciprocity tests aren't manipulative if they're transparent. Match small favors with small favors. Ask for help and see if it's returned. Notice whether your emotional disclosures are reciprocated. Pay attention to whether gratitude is normal or rare in the relationship. Reciprocity in little things predicts reciprocity in big things. Practical Rule 7. Frame attraction by value, not scarcity. Status matters. Attraction is not about dignity-deprived begging. It's about maintaining standards, polishing yourself, and being the kind of man someone would be lucky to have. That doesn't mean expensive toys. It means competence, generative energy, reliability, and the capacity to lead a life. People respect a man who builds, whether the build is a career, a body, or a craft. Now, weave Stoic practices into that strategy. Practice negative visualization. Imagine the relationship ending and see how you survive. Not to be cynical, but to reduce terror. When loss is pre-imagined, possession loosens. Then you give with clarity, not desperation. Practice the dichotomy of control. What parts of the relationship can you influence? Your actions, choices, standards. What can you not control? Her feelings, the market, the way the world praises exits. Focus energy where it changes outcomes. Another Stoic exercise. Rehearse small boundaries aloud. Make your limits normal. Boundaries aren't shocking if you practice them. When you repeatedly show calm limits, you remove drama and create expectation. People respect consistency. The Stoics call this constancy of purpose. Stoic constancy is not rigidness. It's fidelity to your values. Let's be blunt about emotional labor and intimacy. Don't let sex or affection become currency you trade for compliance. Intimacy should be mutual. If it becomes conditional leverage, the relationship is unhealthy. That doesn't mean withholding love to punish. It means refusing to make yourself a commodity. If someone uses your affection as a lever to control behavior, they are training you. Training is reversible, but living as an operand is corrosive. And don't confuse grace with submission. A dignified withdrawal when values are violated is not cruelty. It's clarity. You can be kind and uncompromising at once. Being uncompromising means you won't accept being robbed of your future. There's practical guard work for the legal and financial side too. Have a plan for major milestones. Discuss money early. Don't autopilot into joint mortgage and marriage based solely on feelings. When you sign the papers, you are transferring risk. Make sure the transfer is matched by legible commitments. If someone wants to test your loyalty, let them do it without your life savings on the line. Also, refuse to be the sole emotional infrastructure for someone still figuring themselves out. Support is one thing, caretaking is another. If a partner is chronically unstable and unwilling to get help, your support will become a life sentence. Offer help, encourage therapy, set timelines for change. If change doesn't come, change your involvement. Now, a few short tactical moves you can apply this week. First, pick one standard you've tolerated that drains you. Remove that drain for a week. Let her notice the absence. See how she reacts. Second, widen your circle. Call an old friend. Book a non-work project. Sign up for a class. Third, write down your financial boundaries. Where do you draw the line? Fourth, practice one Stoic breathing exercise daily. And think about the dichotomy of control for 5 minutes. You will be told this is cynical. You'll hear that these ideas make you less romantic and more transactional. That's predictable noise. Romance without reciprocity is fantasy. Romance partnered with clarity is durable and heroic. The Stoics didn't deny love. They taught a discipline of love. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Imagine the worst, prepare, and then act with integrity. That's courage. That's masculine, measured, effective love. This isn't an argument to disengage from women or to build walls. It's an invitation to build thresholds. A threshold is not exclusion. It's a filter. When you filter properly, you give your life to people who actually add to it. And when you build like that, the relationships you keep are the kind that reward effort, not exploit it. If you're listening and some of this stings, that's good. Shame is a useless emotion unless it becomes fuel for change. The point is not to fix blame only, it's to create agency. You get to say, I will not be the passive victim of a social script. I will invest deliberately. I will measure reciprocity. I will protect my future. I will keep my heart open but bounded. So here's the quiet call to action. Tonight, write a short note to yourself. 3 things you will stop tolerating and 3 things you will start protecting. Keep that note where you will see it for a week. Then take one tangible step. Call an old friend, set a financial boundary, or have one honest conversation about reciprocity with someone you trust. Do one thing that proves to yourself you are no longer complicit in your own exploitation. If you want one final Stoic anchor, carry this line with you. The greater the obstacle, the more glory in overcoming it. Modern love is an obstacle because it's tangled with powerful incentives and soft emotions. Overcoming it isn't about winning against women. It's about winning for yourself, your dignity, your future, your peace. Stay steady. Build quietly. Love with standards. The world will applaud whoever he wants. But you will keep the life you respect. When you discipline your giving, you stop being harvested and start being chosen for what you truly are. That's power. That's freedom. That's real love.